Kapil Dev gave me a shoes.
Wow.
So which was like a biggest gift that I could ever get. And
Wow.
I used, when I came back to Mysore with the shoes, there were so many people coming into my house to look into the shoes.
Hearing from Prakash is one thing, but then hearing from the legend himself, the Mysore Express himself, is a different thing. So the first question to you is, it's been a fascinating journey which Prakash has actually picture painted from Javagal to moving to Mysore to becoming the Mysore Express, the fastest pace bowler of India, the Arjun Awardee winner in the very first year, the best of the cricketer of the year, an engineer, entrepreneur, cricket administrator, and now a referee as well. So can you please highlight some of the nostalgic feelings or memories that you have encountered passing through these fascinating years? I'm sure there must have been trials and tribulations as well.
Namaskara, Ellargo. Shiv Prasad, thank you for everything. That was a detailed introduction. First of all, I think I want to congratulate everybody here on the 75th Independence Day that we are going to celebrate tomorrow. I think it's a wonderful occasion for all of us. More importantly, I think I'm amazed with the Bijapur Sainik School, the way they have come together and the way they have held on to their alumni for all these years, and to show this commitment, to the school that they have gone through. And it is not easy. I don't think any other college, any other school in this country that I know has shown this kind of commitment. I think the discipline from this school must be amazing. I think one of the teachers that was shown just now, I think he must have really played a huge role in binding this college and the school together, and to bring out the discipline, and that has sustained for the rest of their lives. First of all, congratulations on that one as well. I think some of the things that I have done in my career is, some of them are, unconsciously I might have done few things right, and of course I have made several mistakes as well. Sport was more of a hobby, more of a, it was just a time where you love this sport, and cricket was probably the only one that was played around during our times. So there was no other sport that we could probably have access to, and that's because it was easy. You take the ball and a bat, and more or less the job is done. The boys were never scared. There were already 20 boys on every streets, and we were all outdoors. Nobody was indoors. So therefore, cricket was only sport that we could play during our younger days. And I was one who would never ever go back to home until the call came from the house. So I used to be enjoying playing this game of cricket. Slowly, I could see myself doing better in cricket. But most importantly, I think, coming from a typical middle class family, it was all about education. It was all about getting a degree. It was all about just like anybody else here. And then, you represent the school, then you represent Mysore, then you represent Karnataka state. I always thought, this was more of a hobby, a sport that you loved and you just go and enjoy. But slowly it started, I could see the better side of the sport. Even till I played for India, I played for Karnataka State under 23. Then I played for Ranji Trophy, and then that's the chronological order of how you get to the Indian side. And then I was picked for the Indian side. And up until then, I never ever thought that cricket would be my profession. Engineering would be my profession, but this is something which I loved, which I paid for passion. I never thought this as profession. Now that is probably the background that we come from. India, even now, I believe that sport is still amateur. It is not a profession yet for many, unlike other sports, because of the population that what we have. It's a steep competition for everything. And to allow somebody to take sport as a career right from the day one, when he's around 12, 13 or 14, and to ask him to make this as a career is quite a risky thing. I would even now say that have a degree and also play sport together. This has been my mantra to everybody all these years. So, you probably after 1 or 2 years of my international cricket, I realized that this is the time for me to stand up and then change gears, get that focus where you see this as a profession for the next 10 years. And also the privilege, the opportunity that not many get, but I was in a way fortunate to be playing for India. And then, then I think a lot of you're exposed to many things in life. That brings that resoluteness to continue this as a profession. However, I didn't want it to finish. I didn't want it to be on the non-finishing end of my degree. So in 1996, 97, when I did my shoulder, I had an operation. And during that period, I went back to college and then finished my 4 or 5 subjects. So a degree is such an important part, integral part of anybody's life. I mean, if you go back, the way the society is structured, in India, where, we have the biggest segment is the middle class segment. And the first thing that everybody asks is, what degree have you got? And it becomes such an, ID for you to say, okay, I have a degree at least. So having studied all my life, it was important for me to possess this degree. I was employed with Vijaya Bank. They came at a very young age of mine to recruit me while I was still a student. Anil Kumble and myself, we both joined at the same time. And then we became officers there. Then my cricketing career continued post my operation. From 2003 onwards, I played my final ODI against Australia in the finals, which wasn't really the best because we lost the finals of the World Cup in 2003. We are up against one of the best teams in the world. Then again, I tried a bit of commentary, was in the media. Then I think the closest that you can get to the sport back again is through the master fring. And I think that's something which I love. Master fring was more ornamental to start with, but now it has become part of the rules and regulations, or good responsibility as well. So this is where I stand. There are a lot of learnings that has happened in this career of being a sportsman, managing sports and education together. I lost few games, won few games for India, learned a lot there again. All I would say is that we don't stop learning at all. And most of the times, when we see a lot of good things happening around, we are humbled, and we still want to be learning a lot of things. I think I got plenty of experience when I was part of the KSCA administration. I think that is one place, a shortcut to the management. I mean, even you won't get the skill sets if you go to Harvard or Stanford. I think KSCA one stint is good enough for you to, understand and learn a lot of things. So, this is where I am doing my master fring job. I can probably go a little more detail with your questions.
Oh, such a pleasure, sir. And in such short time, you've taken us to a vast canvas of your own life in your own words, sir. But what humbled me is even before you began yourself, you started speaking up highly about the school, our discipline, and also spoke about the 75 years of independence and the middle class that all of us are. That, like most of us, I'm sure you too were aspiring to be an engineer. So since you spoke about independence and the middle class, most of the Sainik school boys also come from the humble background and middle class. So this is the 75 years you rightly pointed out. In fact, speaking about cricket, I think it typifies the unity in diversity. When India made that debut in 1932, there were about 18 players, different religions, I think 4 religions, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Parsi. And then, you had the people speaking different languages, people having different food habits, yet they were united by one spirit to represent India. That you had a great honor for about 12 years, sir. I'm sure you too must have faced a lot of this unity in diversity whenever you played with so many people, sir. And also, you're so humble. So can you please take us through this, how the team was united in diversity?
Prasad, you mentioned just now that there are a lot of people who are watching this, and I see a classroom sitting here and listening to me, and they all come from the same background of middle class and lower middle class. And I can promise you that the lower middle class and the middle class is wonderful foundation for growth. I think, you understand the value of money better. You understand the lot of things that the parents go through. You understand there are limits in the way we look into life. The values and the kind of uh, people that we I think that teaches us, the middle class system teaches us that to say no to few things in life. I think the biggest thing that taught me as a middle class, coming from middle class family, is that I can't afford it or I don't deserve it at this point in time. This is probably the most important, some of the value systems that we imbibe during our times. I mean, we never, at the same time, we never felt dearth of anything, even from my parents' side or even from the society that we lived in. So, I can't even emphasize more on how important to have that kind of environment when you grow up, and the middle class gives you everything, anything, and it shapes you into a wonderful, human being to take the world head on. I'm sure most of us here come from a typical middle class, and sometimes a pity with kids who have affluent parents. It becomes very difficult for them to understand life, and even if they excel well, hats off, blessed to be part of this middle class system. And therefore, even in our cricketing, sometimes we might think that we're a little cautious in the way we walk, but I think that is better than making rash decision during my upcoming careers.
Thank you, sir. I mean, there are students listening from Sainik School Satara, Sainik School Nagota, of course, our own alma mater, Sainik School Bijapur. So, by any chance, 1983 was a path-breaking year for Indian cricket. The World Cup was won. By any chance, sir, you were able to listen to the commentary, or see some matches? And was that the time that when you decided that you should try to aspire to be a cricketer?
I didn't get you. Can you just repeat the question again, please?
The 1983 World Cup.
Oh, yes. I think
so. Was it inspiration for you?
Yes, I think the television came at the right time to India. That was a time when of course, we didn't have television. We used to go around to people's houses to watch the cricket matches, and it was so much fun. And then I think 83 winning the World Cup and the introduction of television. So up until then, it was all about, we used to imagine or probably give some kind of impressions to the thoughts, what we heard from the commentators. We used to have our own imagination, but television made it easy for us to express our imaginations, or even make it a reality. Watching matches on television was as good as we playing for India. I think it invokes a lot of emotions when you watch India winning those days, especially. If India were to lose, we used to really be in a state of depression for some time until India won the next match. These kind of emotions are important for us to get stuck to the game. We were fortunate, and I really thank the 1983 team for winning that World Cup, and then instilling that confidence that we can play a role at the highest level. That's at the international level. Such wins make really instills a lot of confidence down the level, and I think we as kids adored that win in 1983, and winning a World Cup all of a sudden was such a huge thing for us. We thoroughly enjoyed that, and then I think I have taken a lot of inspiration from that particular series, as well as in 1985 we remember that India won the world championship in Australia. I think television Channel 9 has come up with some wonderful broadcast techniques those days, and we really enjoyed. So first of all, I think your passion of playing should somewhere coincide with these kind of wins, and that will double your motivation and inspirations. I think we're fortunate to have. So, when I think about my career, it is never complete without those incidents to take place, and those successes. I think that will have a cascading effect on us. So what we do today, how we lead a life, how do we perform in life, that has a cascading life for the future generation as well. So, it is all about learnings from the others.
Thank you, sir. I hand over to my colleague Shakil, Colonel Shakil. Yours, please.
Thank you very much, Shiv Prasad. Now coming in from the Bemel Road end to board to Srinath, after the pavilion end from Shiv Prasad. Yeah, you just mentioned about the 1983 World Cup. We also had our legend Gundappa Vishwanath, I believe, who had a hand in spotting your talent, and then of course the dream debut in Hyderabad. What were the initial days like, playing for under 23 juniors in Karnataka and going on to make your Ranji debut against a strong Hyderabad team, getting that hat-trick in the first innings and almost one in the second? What were those initial, days of, enthusiasm?
I think in 1989, Anil, myself, Avinash Vaidya, another guy from Hubli, then we had Girish Reddy, who is now in US. So all four of us, I think we had a great under 23 series. We beat Kerala, having given them first innings lead.
Wow.
So we had a good stint, all of us. So Karnataka team inducted four of us. So GR Vishwanath was the selector, and top gentleman. As we all know, the selections were fair, and we were brought into the side. And sometimes few good things fall in place for you, and it was Roger Binney, one of the best human beings that I have played under. So Roger Binney was the captain, and then he used to just give the ball in my hand and say, "Just go do your best." Whether I bowl down the leg side, whether I bowl on the wide outside the off stump, I mean, he would never utter a word. You need captains like that who doesn't really interfere with you for too long and or frequently. And when you have such people, that kind of energy is important. That's why that's why I always felt that we need to be watchful about what we say, what we speak, what we think about others. And I think Roger did that without making an effort on it, and without my knowledge. I mean, I got 2 wickets in a row on the last 2 balls of that over, and then again the first ball of the next. I was myself not aware that I had a hat trick. I'd gotten a hat trick, and then I was reminded by somebody that, hey, you got a hat trick because there were 2 wickets from the previous over and this is the first one. It was like a surprise to me. And I think when you get a hat trick on debut, whatever, I think those will stay with you for a longer period, and then that gives you confidence to grow as well. Even then, I was like, actually, I played cricket, so it was nice to represent Ranji Trophy. That's it. Now let me focus back on education. So more or less, that was the thinking that I had possessed then. Anil was the only one who always believed that I want to play for India. I will do my engineering and also play for India. He was so firm and resolute about it. I wasn't actually. But good things happened, and I went further on. So I think that's the reason why I have, a lot of, even today when I pass Hyderabad, Secunderabad, Gymkhana, I would want to go walk onto that field, and then that you have that ceremonies. That is nice to have such things. I get an opportunity, I just go walk around from the end where I bowled more, mainly, get a feel of that. It's very nostalgic, and I enjoy and I celebrate such moments even today.
Well, thank you so much. And you mentioned Roger Binney, one of our heroes of our 1983 World Cup win. And such a gentleman, man of few words, Roger Michael Humphrey Binney. Who would call this man an Indian? That's what Henry Blofeld had mentioned once, tongue in cheek, of course. After the 1989, I think, debut, you were asked to bowl at the nets to Dilip Vengsarkar, the colonel. Yes. And I believe you let go a barrage of short pitch delivery and then really softened him up and then bowled the perfect Yorker.
So what happened, Shakilji, I think you have done real due diligence of my career. Yeah, I think Bishan Singh Bedi was the coach and the Indian team was leaving for England. He called me and said, why don't you come and bowl? Because we need a lot of net bowlers. The pitch was pretty good, was a little damped as well. So you want to impress upon people in those days. Yes. Or you just want to go bowl fast. And Vengsarkar, I bowled a couple of bouncers and then he didn't like it. And then he said, why don't you pitch the ball up? And then that ball, without my knowledge, it became a Yorker and hit his foot. And then he threw his bat. And in the fit of that, he said, asked me to say that, none of you Indian bowlers bowl like this in the match. You only bowl well in the practice. And I was a little disappointed. And then I was taken to the side by Bishan Singh Bedi. And he said, no, that's all right. People lose temper once in a while and they're all in a preparing mode. They don't want to be injured before going to the series. I think that was a wonderful experience. And also we got a little bit of more endorsement with that incident. Kapil Dev gave me a shoes.
Wow.
So which was like a biggest gift that I could ever get. And
Wow.
when I came back to Mysore with the shoes, there were so many people coming into my house to look into the shoes.
Sure. Must have been a real great moment for you. Yeah.
It makes this life very interesting.
Wow. Yorking the colonel himself. That was great. Are we having some problem with the
Yes, sir.
audio?
No, you're okay.
Yeah, we are okay. Okay.
Yeah. Bandwidth issue from Srinath, sir.
Yeah, I think so. Real great conversation going on. I just hope we can get him back. Yeah, we hold on for a second. Just a minute. Yeah, I think he'll be back on the pitch soon.
Yep,
Yeah, is he back?
I am back.
Okay. Yeah, that was great, Javagal. And for a fast bowler, most fast bowlers are very aggressive on the pitch and off the field. And you were as fast as India could get. I think apart from Mohammad Nisar, who played in the 1932 test, and then of course Kapil Dev, we really did not have true fast bowlers until of course you came on the field, lanky 6'3", and bowling those great thunderbolts. But fast bowlers are aggressive in your face, but you are not aggressive in that sense. You are slightly different. What was the difference? I mean, personality, upbringing, what?
Before I answer that question, I think Mohammad Nisar, what they say, was probably the fastest that India has produced, which we have a chance to watch. But I think it is nice to admit that. And number two is that then we had Ramakant Desai, who was at some stage. He was not very tall, but I think he was very pacey. I've heard a lot of him. And then I think there are a lot of other fast bowlers I would like to mention who are quick. Abhay Kurvilla, who is the general manager of BCCI now, he is one of the good fast bowlers that we have had. Then we have had the T.A. Shekhar from Tamil Nadu, who used to also played for Railways. I think he was fast.
And now he's the bowling coach as well, Shekhar.
He was the bowling coach for some time. And then we had from Bombay, we had Raju Kulkarni, who was quick. Then we had Rajendra Singh Gai, who was quick. When as an youngster, when I used to watch all these people, you take inspiration from them. So I feel that this life is so interdependent on one another that I think everybody in one way or the other. I mean, not necessarily that to come and deliver something to you, but the way you watch them, the way you kind of take inspiration from them, I think that even says that they have again contributed to your career. I want to believe in that sense that everybody has played their role directly or indirectly in most of our careers.
That is really great.
Back to your question of being aggressive, everybody has their own way of doing things. I think television has really pumped up lots of players to say all these nasty things and stuff. And I as a match referee, was the first one to go and talk to them and say, look, your aggression should be in terms of getting wickets and scoring runs or playing the game in the right spirit. But emotions can be expressed, disappointments can be depicted, or it comes out naturally. But there is a line for all these things. But if you're playing games for the television, I am the first one to come and find you people. So as a match referee, I have to play to all the players. But I think a lot of players play for the television, which is not probably the best thing to do.
Thank you very much. I think
I would never do that, but I think people love it. By the end of the day, I think the spectators don't want a plain vanilla way of playing cricket. They need this passion.
Yeah, sports is a spectacle after all. Yeah, today.
Exactly. But as long as there are limits, I'm happy to endorse that, but it should not go beyond limits. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's a great lesson for all our young students and Ajits here. Now over to my colleague Shiv Prasad for the next set.
Thank you, Shakil. So fascinating. Quintessential Srinathji coming out with the answers, which again speaks of your simplicity. So I'm reminded about two series which you were a part of. The South Africans, because of the apartheid, for 22 years they were out of cricket. They came to India in 1991, which you were a part of. Three ODI series. The captain Clive Rice told he felt like the man landing on moon, because the kind of a reception that he got, including meeting Mother Teresa. Similarly, when you went to South Africa in 1992, you were given a roaring reception from Durban to the hotel. You were, I know, I had a photograph which we used in one of the exhibition, that you were traveling in an open car along with Ravi Shastri. So can you run through that those two beautiful series?
Yes, I think when South Africans came here, they were overwhelmed with the reception what they got in India, especially in Calcutta, right from the airport all the way to the ground and to the hotel. And in Calcutta, even today, maybe not that much, but during our playing days, I mean, you will always have at least 10,000 people outside the hotel. And that series was unbelievable. And the similar thing was reciprocated back when we went to South Africa. We landed in Johannesburg. There wasn't much in Johannesburg. Of course, we drew a lot of attention from every corner. But when we went to Durban, where 70% of them are Indians, and you should have seen that reception, that was like mind-boggling. Right from the airport in the open cars and the whole lineup, and the airport to the hotel was at least good 15 to 20 kilometers, and then you had people lined up on all the sides, welcoming us to South Africa. And I think we really felt like being in India. Durban is just like another India. So we were shocked to see that. We were pleasantly shocked to experience that kind of a reception. Those moments make it very memorable. Sometimes, while I was on the Jeep, on the open cars, I had to pinch myself to believe this is happening. And I think that also motivates you. This kind of reception, whatever that we have received, I think there is a payback through our performance. Those things have to kind of transform and motivate you more to do better for the country. So, where you draw inspiration is again important. From everything, anything, you can draw inspiration at times.
So again, I'll stay back in South Africa. So you had a honor to meet the great Nelson Mandela. I've seen the photograph where you met Nelson Mandela. So your
that was unbelievable. I mean, the man which you have heard of, and his politeness, his softness in the way he speaks, and he stopped at every player, got our names, and he repeated those names, and then wishing us all the best. And then again, the same line which he said about although I want you guys to do well, but I don't want you to win, because he wanted South Africa to win. So it was a humor which he put it across, and I got an opportunity to meet him twice. Again in 1996, we got a chance to meet him, but I think 1992 was an absolute. I would say, I can never forget the South African series. And first of all, the impression of South Africa, what we had was completely different, because it was not open to the world, and we thought it was all about forests and such things. But the kind of development what South Africa had gone through was unbelievable. So it was a proper modern Western country and the grounds with beautiful stadium. And I still believe Centurion Park, which is in Pretoria, is probably one of the best grounds that I have played in. And then again, you're looking at the Cape Town, and you're looking at Port Elizabeth, East London. I think South Africa is one of the beautiful countries that I have seen.
Sir, when we speak of Nelson Mandela, I think we are also in the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. We must remember Mahatma Gandhi as well. So you had an opportunity again, sir. The entire cricket team, when you went for the World Cup in 2003, all of you actually were asked to unveil that plaque of Mahatma Gandhi at the very station where he was thrown out. And that's where, from Mohandas, he became Mahatma Gandhi. Sir, your experience on that.
Correct. That was, we were all taken to the railway station somewhere near Durban. That was in Natal again. I think that was in Petermarisburg, if
Yes,
I can
sir.
recall.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Petermarisburg. So there we had to unveil the flag, and that little ceremony again brought us, how things change and how revolutions happen, and the momentum for the freedom of India in a way began there. Whatever our great Mahatma Gandhi ji went through during those days, I think that really helped us gain momentum back in India. I think he was more resolute when he came back to India to start this freedom movement even stronger. So, we were briefed about, how he stayed, in the places where he lived in South Africa, all of it. So, I think we Indians have a massive respect for in South Africa. Something that we didn't expect when we went there. But I think, of course, Gandhi is probably the biggest man again, still in South Africa.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir. I'm handing it over back to you, Shakil.
Thank you, Shiprasad. I know it was a historic series, playing against the Springboks, I'm sure. Coming back to fast bowling and cricket, the MRF Foundation was founded in 1987. I think till then, and even during your early cricket playing days, there were no bowling coaches as such. So did that MRF Foundation really help initially Dennis Lillee and now, of course, Glenn McGrath? As we have a good stock of bowlers now. Yeah, sorry.
We have, that was a one-stop place for fast bowlers. Fast bowling is very hard in India because, apart from Kapil Dev, we didn't have many heroes to look up to. Whereas batting, you have G.R. Vishwanath and Gavaskar and Mohinder Ramanand and all of them. Batting has been pretty easy. And of course, we had plenty of great spinners, to motivate the fast bowling. It was quite hard. And we had to really look up to Imran Khan and, of course, our own Kapil Dev to come with to first. And then we had to look up to Imran Khan, Dennis Lillee and Bob Willis and all these guys. We used to look up to them. But MRF was one place where it was like one stop for fast bowlers, where you had the kind of gym exercises that we need to do, because gym was not one of the in things those days. And if you go back to 1989-90, we had to really go in search of a gym in Mysore. It's not easy to find, but now we find them on every road. Then again, the kind of wickets, sometimes we never got wickets to bowl on turf wickets. So there were always 5 to 6 turf wickets ready. And then Dennis Lillee is a man of immense wealth in terms of the knowledge of the game.
Yeah.
Tremendously with him. We had a good interaction. He treated all of us really well. He was here to impart knowledge, and he made sure that he customized information to everyone in the way that person is able to understand him. I think he did a wonderful job. Sometimes, some of our fast bowlers who came could not manage English that well, but he still tried to convince them as much as possible. I think Dennis' contribution to Indian fast bowling is unbelievable. Zahir Khan, myself, Venkatesh Prasad was a proper MRF student, and Ashish Nehra has had a stint in MRF. Even many people from South Africa used to come here. Ravindra Pushpaka was the Sri Lankan fast bowler. Taminda was a few good bowlers. Even James Anderson was here to train under Dennis Lillee. So a lot of people from all over the world. So it was just not for India. It was for anybody who could bowl fast, could come and gain knowledge here. So that was the attitude of MRF. I think Ravi Maman, who started this, was a wonderful idea, brilliant idea to get this one up and going. I think, again, they have made immense contribution, and they're still making that contribution to the Indian cricket.
Oh, that's great. Mentorship needs no language, needs no communication at all. Yeah.
You need a bouncing board. Whenever I didn't bowl, a good call to Dennis Lillee and have a chat with him for 15-20 minutes, I think he would put me back on track. It is the confidence that he gives you. And it is what he has gone through. And he used to put those in simple words and make us understand that we are all humans, and we all can afford to have some lean patches every now and then. Sometimes I think it is arrogant to think that we will never hit a lean patch.
Wow.
I think we all have lows in life. I think we need to accept it. And we have to be patiently be there till we get out of it. I think the colonel who spoke the other time, I think it's exactly what he meant. I think we all go through that stage in life, and I think everybody has highs and lows in life. That's very important to understand.
Some great, mentorship lessons for all of us. Dennis the Menace is one of my favorite, fast bowlers. All his aggression. Did he impart that aggression to you guys as well? I mean, he was a real competitor. I mean,
He's an absolute competitor. And
yeah.
He used to hate batsmen. And he always used to tell us that you've got to hate batsmen. I mean, in a nice way. When you're on the field, I think you've got to be mean to them. I mean, don't show any mercy. If he's weak on the short pitch ball, then use the short pitch ball to dismiss him. So we should not be in a position where, all right, I don't want to hit him on his head, or I don't want to injure. But I think that's part of the arsenal of a bowler. So use it when it is necessary. So that is aggression.
That's great.
It's not about, spewing through, some bad words or disturbing the
Sledging.
The sledging is not the best way, but I think aggression is using the ball gently, intimidatingly, to get your purpose.
Yeah, and you use that aggression very, very well in your bowling. After you,
people always have a complaint on me that I was not aggressive enough.
Aggressive enough, including your good friend Venkatesh Prasad.
Oh, he was aggressive. I think he was very expressive as well. He used to have few words as well, and I have said in more situations where he went out of control. I had to bring him back and then say sorry to a couple of batsmen for what he said.
Okay.
So he was a very lively person on the field.
Yeah. You mentored a lot of, fast bowlers like, Zahir, we had Ajit Agarkar, Nehraz, Irfan Pathan, RP Singh. The cupboard was never bare when you, started bowling fast. And how was it, to, really mentor these young fast bowlers? And how was the experience, for you as the spearhead, Earlier it was only Kapil Dev and we had military medium at best.
What I believe is that fast bowling is all about conservation of energy. I think if you're fresh and if you're good, and if you come in spells of 6 overs in a test match, I'm speaking purely from the test match point of view, then you are more effective, your thinking is better, and then you don't want to survive there as a bowler. You want to be a strike bowler, you want to get wickets. For that, you need 3 good fast bowlers at least. And for you to have 3 good fast bowlers, then you need to have at least 6 good fast bowlers ready to play for the country. Now, that is not competition for any one of us. I think if you have good 6 fast bowlers in the running to take those 3 places, I think the game will get better, and I think India will be safer or probably stronger with the fast bowlers. The moment, the thought process of if somebody is good and he is going to replace me, that's a very negative mindset. I think you should have somebody who is better. Say, for example, 3 fast bowlers are operating. If the second person gets a wicket, which means he has made it easy to run into the 3rd wicket or to the 4th wicket. That's the mindset what we need. So somebody else taking wicket is always making easy for the other bowlers in the side to get, a few more wickets. So, this is again, the thought process which we need to build in the minds of the kids. That, it is just not about you or yourself or your performance or your wickets. It is about how you work as a team. I think this is where I think the team work, the team ethics, the feeling for the other players to do well, I think such things play a huge role. And I think you see a lot of success when you start thinking in those lines.
Oh, thank you so much. Team is together, everyone achieves more. That is the acronym for team. And you hit the nail on the head, sir. You played for 12 long years. And you are the highest wicket takers in ODI for a fast bowler still. Any memorable matches you were part of other than the Kotla, of course, where your good friend Anil?
I always say that beating Pakistan in all the 4 World Cups will always be very special for me. You know how it is when you play against Pakistan. It is so much excitement. There is everybody wants to win. Every Indian wants us to win, and the expectations are huge on all of us.
No, it is bandobast across India.
96.
It is bandobast across India.
Exactly, I understand. And during the Kargil in 2000, when we went to see the our soldiers in the hospitals and these places, I mean, they were talking so highly about the actions and the reactions of India winning or losing the match at the borders. So which was very interesting. That was nice. But again, we beating Pakistan in all the 4 World Cups that I figured probably will always be a special moment for me.
Oh, thank you very much. And the Feroz Shah Kotla famous match, which Prakash Saigavi also mentioned, and Sadgopan, any thoughts on that? What went through your mind?
When somebody is about to make a huge, when he's about to embarking to make a huge achievement, I mean, that is, you need to be part of such feats in life. I mean, not many people and not many, I mean, it has only happened once, and this is probably the second time it was about to happen. And the best way to be part of such events is by not taking wickets. If you take wickets, then you're going to spoil that feat. So I think it happened to one of the best men, that is Anil Kumble, a good friend of mine. And I think anybody in my place would have done the same. And that ball was skied. Waqar Yunus wanted to get out. He didn't want to give the wicket to Anil. So he wanted to just get out, and he was playing some reckless shot. And that one was, I was trying to bowl as far away as possible from the batsman, but he still middled it. And then took the top, he didn't middle it. He took the top edge and then went to Sadgopan Ramesh. So it was his natural reaction to go to the catch. And knowing that the way Anil was bowling, he would finish the match within no time. So that was probably one of those tries to say, no, don't take the catch, which was, just to tell him to stay away from the catch and, wait for Anil to get the other wickets from the other end.
Wow, thank you.
One of the wonderful, I would say, apart from these 4 matches beating Pakistan in the World Cup, Anil's 10-wicket haul, and then winning a few tournaments here and there. I think when we win a tournament, when we win every match, a lot of good things happen. I think we forgive people. We kind of, the differences are all dissolved between people. I think winning brings tremendous positive energy between people. So every winning, there is something that good things happen. At the same time, when we lose, I think that's the introspection that we do on ourselves quite a bit as to where I could have contributed even more. I think the focus is on your performance when you lose, but the focus is on the entire team when we win. So these are some of the lessons that we learned during our playing days.
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, and trust the Pakistanis to try and spoil the party always. Waqar, yeah. You had a very strong rotatory cuff injury in the early part of your career-threatening injury of sorts. But luckily, you came out of it and you came back a stronger bowler. In fact, you did completed your graduation always. Who are the people around you who stood by you, who saw you through these difficult patches, and what lessons, if any, to our youngsters?
This is probably the question where I want the youngsters to probably listen to this carefully. I think we need to have mentors. We need to have good people guiding us. We might be good in 1 or 2 walks of life, but I think, overall, we need to look up to some seniors in life whom we trust in. We got to find them. And if you have the right attitude, you will find them as well. It is not about, walking up to some random people for advice. I think you will have some relationship with that person, and it could be from any walk of life. I mean, some of my great cricketing advices came from my club secretary, Mr. Subramaniam, who has played decent level of cricket. He has not played at the international level, but he ran the club for us. But he was one man who was to bring that balance in many of us, and especially me. I think some of the big decisions in cricket, whenever I want to take, I think I used to speak to him. I think we should never underestimate the position that we are in has no consequence to the others who are probably in a much better place, not necessarily in terms of being famous or popularity or whatever it is, but the knowledge what they possess is something which is always hidden. So we got to go ask them, and we need to bark at the right tree to get the right knowledge. I always used to look up to such people around. go up to them and then probably seek advice. And I think for that, we first of all need to show that attitude that we are ready to listen to people. So I think it is, if you go with an honest and an open heart to seek the right advice, you will meet the right people for sure. And I think I have experienced it myself. There are a lot of people. One is Dennis Lillee. I mean, he comes from Australia. It really doesn't matter. I used to talk to him quite a lot about my bowling and my career and all of it. My club secretary was another person, and then a lot of good friends of mine of my same age. I think they were again guiding me in one way or the other, not necessarily directly, but I could gather what they were trying to say in terms of my own performance, whether I'm good, whether I'm going down, what should be done, and even Anil, Rahul, Venki, your peers. I think their feedback is also very important. When they say that, look, you need to step up, you're going down a bit. I think those advices come from the heart and you need to accept it. I think what I tell the youngsters here who are watching is that when you are given a feedback about who you are and what you are and where you need to improve upon, I think that's more of a boon than being criticized. Don't see that as criticism at all. I think every criticism or every feedback that you get as an advice might not be very pleasant to hear, but that's exactly what you want to hear. And that is the tonic for your growth.
Wow. Listening and learning. Perfect lessons. Listening and learning. That's perfect lessons. Thank you very much. Was mentioned, even after retirement, you contested elections, KSCA, and with your good friend Anil Kumble, and went into cricket administration. You did dabble in commentating for some time. But then, of course, now you are a match referee of great repute. I mean, how did a match referee, come into your career? I mean, and you are one of the most astute match referees that cricket is seeing. Very calm, very mature, nothing over the top. How did that come about?
Well, I mean, I used to be part of the bowling review group. I mean, people who, for accuracy, I mean, anybody who had a dodgy action and that came for review, we used to sit and decide, myself and 3-4 other guys from ICC. So from then on, I think Mr. Sunil Gavaskar and also Mr. Dalmia proposed my name to the ICC. So we had 2 rounds of interview, and then they had seen me functioning for the bowling review group, and then they picked me for the job. I was not too sure about this job to start with. I thought, let me just dabble with this for the next 2 years and see where I stand and probably change it. But slowly I started liking this profession. It's of immense responsibility. You will never, if you don't hear our names, which means the game has gone smoothly and we have done a good job.
Absolutely.
If you hear the newspaper, which means that there is something wrong in the match and maybe we have left few pages unturned or whatever. That's where we stand. So basically, our name should not be there anywhere. I think that's probably the best way to function, or that's what the performance demands from us.
Oh, that is brilliant. You have some real great guys. Mike Proctor is one, I remember. He's one of the match referees.
Clive Lloyd was...
Clive Lloyd as well.
Alan Hurst from Australia was another match referee, a good fast bowler.
Yeah, thank you so much. Speaking of bowling, and we've seen munkading, that's a term used for the running out a batsman. We've had some real, incidents. Courtney Walsh, even our great Kapil Dev himself, letting batsmen, reminding them. Now munkading has, taken up a lot of discussion. Ravichandra Ashwin, our own Ashwin, is very against it. He says it's perfectly legitimate for bowlers to munkad people out. What are your thoughts, especially in light of...
The competition is so much now that, a game is lost or won by a few centimeters. It could be the run out, or it could be that's where it is. So giving that advantage might not be the best when the competition is very high. So it is the responsibility of the batsman to stay inside the crease. And I think now, earlier we used to ask the captain to see if munkading is done, to say whether you want to give the batsman an opportunity. But now even that has been taken away. So I think that's the right way to play. I think, we call it a gentleman's game, but yes, It has to be played in a gentleman's game by following the rules and regulations of the game to the T. So therefore, I think munkading has become a normal dismissal now. So you don't have to invoke the spirit of the game anymore by being the captain. So if somebody's out of the crease early, he's out.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, Shiv Prasad, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Shakil. Srinathji, you brought out a beautiful concept. Most of the Sainik school boys come from a very humble background. You said, even the general also told that, and you also emphatically mentioned that you passed through lean patches. But unfortunately, in the Indian system, our culture is such that we only celebrate the success, and hardly people speak about failures. But I remember one case of yours, where you took 13 wickets. It's a massive achievement, but then you ended up on the losing side. Now, this is a part of the Indian team passing through this period. So again, another lesson which you would like to do, sir, that you will be passing through such period where you fail.
Yeah, I think passing through lean patches is a must. I think one must go through those patches. I think hardship makes you learn a lot. I think, that's the time where people should not drift into depression or feel so low about their own confidence. I think, I would request, all the teachers, the coaches in the cricket, people who are in a place where they can deliver knowledge to the kids. I think they should prepare people to go through rejections in life. They should prepare kids to go through, the real low state where, they lose wickets or they don't score runs or they're on the losing side. So that is important. I think, world is for everyone. It is just not for us alone. I think everybody, if you don't get wickets, which means somebody else has taken wickets. So it's an opportunity for all. So, this is a strong message that should go to everyone that, we will all have these stages of life and we need to be prepared for that. And I think what goes through our mind and the kind of people we meet and the kind of advice we get when we are low is the true advice. I think that's what we need to look up to. So therefore, I ask all the kids that, failing in exams is not the end of the world. I mean, it's only seeking you to prepare better for the next one, just like what the Colonel said a few minutes back. So I think giving it up is failure. I think making attempts to get better is the way forward.
So I think you've been a ardent fan of technology. Maybe your friend rubbed it onto him, your Mohandas, for example. You've advocated use of technology in the game of cricket. You somehow managed to convince the BCCI to adopt technology. And now, of course, what we see in the TV is an example, classic example of that. Now that we are passing through what is called as an industrial revolution 4, IR 4.0, now you have things like artificial intelligence, virtual reality, Internet of Things. Now, do you foresee that these things, machine learning, for example, coming into the play as a technology in cricket, sir?
I think machine learning, beyond a point, how are we using technology? We are using technology to make sure that we get the information in a pattern that we want, so that from that pattern we learn a lot. That's exactly how we use technology. How quickly we can get the images or the footages, what we want, and what particular information that we want. We can get those clippings. That's quick access to what you want. Technology enables us to get that. Machine learning and stuff, I think that is still a little far away. I don't think it has still gotten into the technology or probably in the space where we need it. At the moment, I think the computers are strong enough to give what we want. Maybe in the near future, artificial intelligence, machine learning, it will probably the human interference will be far lesser. Every ball, the way the ball has behaved, whatever it is, the machine will be able to understand and then probably make it easy for you to give a better information. So it is again, what kind of information we seek is more important. If we don't understand that concept of seeking what we want, then I think using technology will be of no use. So I think, we should not really make a big issue about technology. Technology is a tool to for you to have access to what you want and what you want to learn from the picture. Otherwise, technology will not teach you what to do. I think it will give you a lot of options. That options is we need to judiciously try to manage those options. So that's where we are at this point.
Absolutely right, sir. I mean, this you said that right now computers are adequate enough. I'm reminded of one game, so where the South Africans had entered the semi-finals. I wish they had won, but they had 22 runs to score in 13 balls, and then this some rain formula came into the picture. Yeah, the Duckworth-Lewis came into the picture, and then in one ball they had to score 22 runs. So I think there must be some limit to use of technology, sir. What do you feel, sir?
No, that is different. I think Duckworth-Lewis is a system where it believes in the resources that you have. I think it says that if you lose the first two batsmen, which means that you have lost more percentage of your resources. If you lose 5 wickets, but it doesn't take. If you reverse the batting order, maybe the Duckworth-Lewis will not be able to understand it. But anyway, I think that's a universal tool that has been used. There is some kind of consistency that has been brought by using it everywhere. So we know what Duckworth-Lewis can break the numbers into. So we have to also, in a strategy part of it, we need to include Duckworth-Lewis when you see rain coming.
Sir, actually, we had many more questions, but then I know for sure that there are people who are waiting in the chat rooms where they're asking, including some of the principals of different Sainik school. I will end up with one small question. So you're so humble that I'm reminded about one incident. Post your retirement, it was, and it's a anecdotal information. I think you lost your car papers, and due diligence, you went to the police station to make a complaint that you lost your car papers to make so that you have an FIR. But the police gentleman, perhaps he did not recognize you in that old style that we remember of the police. Perhaps he tried to, he did not register, and then if he tried to misbehave, he walked away. But then the senior police got to know about this. SP called him up. He wanted to actually suspend him. The moment you got to know this, he called them up to ensure that he's not suspended. How is it that, so humble, so simple? People actually show that in Delhi, everybody would like to show that I'm so and so.
I think irrespective of what we play, what we do, if you're recognized in the society, that doesn't mean that you can just walk away without following the laws. I think what the gentleman asked me as the head of the station was true. He said we need an affidavit along with that. So all right, I said I'll get that. So in the meantime, I think a few things happened which shouldn't have happened, and I think that man behaved as he's expected to behave. So there was nothing wrong with that man at all. But I think few turns took which shouldn't have taken. Then finally everything ended up well. There was no issues after that. But I think the media also created a bit of a mischief there to blow a few things out of proportion, and that's exactly what happened. I think that man shouldn't have gone through what he went through. It was unnecessary. I think I was used as a pawn for all these things. Anyway, that's over now.
So, you talked about the competitive spirit of playing against the Pakistanis. Of course, winning all the 4 World Cups. Strangely and pleasantly, the two teams, both India and Pakistan, have come together to host the 1987 World Cup. In fact, there have been a lot of confidence building measures that happens in track 2, track 3 diplomacy. And, the presidents of, whether it is Ziaul Haq, he has come to see the matches. Mia Nawaz Sharif has come here. So, were you a part of any of these confidence building measures behind the scene? Or any cricket players for that?
No, we don't get to that part at all. I think the board decides what we need to play, and we go end up in that place and start playing. We don't have a role to play in that decision making.
But cricket does bring these two people together at times, and
1980. Not at our level. We have been told to go and play, and we just go and play. So we don't get involved in the diplomacy part of it.
Okay. From my side, one last question, sir. I'm reminded of a very, some kind of, it seems you were out of mood when you were playing in Cuttack, and Srinath wanted to bring you back to the good mood. You're 6 feet 3 inches, and he's just about 5 feet 4 inches or 5 inches like me. So what he did is he asked Hemang Badani to exchange your trouser with his trouser. thinking that the moment you see that, wear a short trouser, you'll become, your mood will become okay. See, you are that quintessential Srinath. You did not notice and you walked onto this the pitch to play. Can you explain that, sir?
He was trying to, Sachin can probably, when he's in his mode and when he wants to make pranks, he takes that route. Sometimes we have good times in the dressing room. And the one thing that even now I cherish is the good relationship with all the players that I have played. I think that is important for all of us here that, in the profession that we are in, things won't be the same every time. There will be emotionally high situations, emotionally low situations, all of it. But by the end of the day, I think we should still have a good relationship with people. So when you quit that place and move away, are you still in a position to talk to people? Are you still in a position to, somebody you call will pick up your phone call? I think that establishes how well you have played this game and, how well you have established, how well you have valued people as humans. So I think that is very important for all of us. It is just not about, absolute professionalism where you just play the game and come back. But I think at all levels, we need to connect. And most important, at a human level, you should be able to connect to people with in the workspace that we work in.
Shakil, I think there are a lot of other questions. I think we should stop and maybe one question from you or maybe one or two rapid questions.
Okay, thanks so much. You've after being an ICC match referee, you're now on to entrepreneurship also. Ajit's the students of Sainik School Bijapur, ex-students and the present students, a lot of them are into entrepreneurships. So, what is your advice to them? Or any thoughts, any messages for these young boys?
A lot of them become engineers. A lot of them become entrepreneurs, many of them prefer management, whatever it is. I think what we need to understand is that we need to look for the problems, what the people face in life, the society face in general, and then work back with a solution. Now, that is more important than the skills what we have, and then we start searching what to do through the skills what we have alone. That might not be the best thing to see the world. I think you need to look into the problems what the world has, how to better the lives of the people. I think that's where largely most of the businesses are. I mean, you're bettering people's life. So from there, if you're able to contribute back to see whether your skills fit in and where I feel that, like, for example, in terms of cricket, I mean, I finished my engineering and I don't think I have great skills in engineering, but I understood the problem what we were facing. And then I realized that I think engineering is the solution for this, where we can bring in technology. So we were struggling with trying to get the quick access of the videos and the clippings and all of it to understand how we bowl and how we bat. So then we realized technology is the one which is going to provide solution for us. These kind of thinking helps. So if there is a problem that we need to solve, and then what technology is good. And therefore, we need to go for that particular technology to solve the problem. Just because we have a skill, that skill should not necessarily be accepted by everyone. So we need to, first of all, find a solution. I mean, find an issue or a problem or where we can do things which is much better, or probably the work could be done better, and then align our skills to that. That's probably the best way to look into our lives. I think most of us will probably be in a stage, and we need to do some introspection to see whether our skill sets are contextual and is it acceptable by where we want to be. So that's where I believe we need to be doing a lot of introspection to see where our skills fit in.
Thank you so much. We've had two short questions from cadets from the Sainik School Nagrota. Cadet Vishav Khajuria wants to know, you were one of the great fast bowlers. Who was your role model other than Dennis Lillee, of course, and you mentioned Imran and the Kapil Dev as well?
I think, my club, role models are there everywhere. Not necessarily it has to be somebody, who has achieved a lot or, in terms of name and fame. But I think for me, the biggest role model was some of the players who played for my own club. I mean, I used to look up to them. I think your own seniors at college, in your school, I think they are the real role models, and there is plenty to learn from them. Of course, it is easy to idolize the Kapil Devs and Imran Khans and Dennis Lillees and all of it. But I think within your own workspace, I mean, there will be somebody who is better than you. The beauty of life is that there is always somebody who is better than you, and there is always somebody who is not as good as you. So we are always in that position. So, it is always good to help somebody who is not as good as you. At the same time, seek how you can better yourself with somebody who is better than you.
Wow, fascinating insight. One more from Cadet Shagun Rakwal, Sainik School, Nagarota. He asks, who gave you this nickname, Mysore Express?
I think it was one of those newspaper guys who started writing as Mysore Express. I think you come from Mysore, so something needs to be associated. I think you have enough trains called Mysore Express in Mysore. So therefore, and then they just coined a name called Mysore Express.
So one question I have to take from, because this is from the principal of Nagarota School, it's a Sainik School in J&K. What, in your opinion, are some of the most essential qualities to excel in any sport? Also, what would he say? What would you say to trainers at Sainik School who are mentors and often coaches to the cadet?
I think from the cadet's point of view, I think to be extremely honest about your own talent is very important. When you want to add talent, first of all, you should put your hand on your chest and say, I don't have this talent, I need to add this talent. If you're able to say this in front of everyone, in the midst of everyone, to say that I want to learn, I want to, learn this skill, and which I don't know, is probably most important thing. Where we fail is that when we don't have the talent, but we still profess to say that I do have the talent, that is wrong. I think we need to be very honest here in sport to say that this is the talent that I have, and this is the talent I don't have. How do I add skill to the existing talent? Now, if you're honest, I think the best advice will come to you.
Thank you, sir. It's been so. Yes, sir.
Talent, yes.
It's been so fascinating. We can go on and on, but we have to end here because we have a couple of other senior, very, very senior officers to actually, and then there are questions as well. I hand it over back to Vinay. So, Vinay.
Thanks, Dr. Shivprasad. Thanks to Colonel Shakil. It was amazing. My goodness. It was absolutely terrific, and the way, Srinath sir, the way you presented every reply to those complex questions, I would put it as, because in the most simplistic way, so that every young student who is watching from nook and corner of this country was able to understand. So thanks to your simplicity, sir. But yeah, I also have two questions which have come on YouTube, right? So very simple question. What was your reaction when you first heard? I know it's really funny. What was your reaction when you first heard the concept of that cred ad about OG? Because we never saw you in that avatar. So what is your thought on that?
I was really surprised because on the eve of the ad was about to be done, they told me that this is exactly what you're doing. And I said, look, that's not me. That's not me who is going to dance in front of people. I have never done this before. He said, that's exactly what we want. What you're not is what we want on the ad. So that was the theme of the ad. Funny, and it was not, I was very uncomfortable doing it. But they just gave me enough confidence to go and, do a bit of, shake your body and then come back. So I think I went with the philosophy of what the ad was resting on. So therefore, I did this ad. I don't think I will be able to do that kind of ads again and again. Not that I get many offers, but yeah, I think we enjoyed that ad, that overall concept. Yes. We brought some in the peak COVID times, and they said, what the hell is this guy? Are these guys doing here? So anyway, it was fun.
Absolutely, sir. Watching you, even Rahul Dravid shouting in Indiranagar.
They again wanted to portray what Rahul Dravid was not on the ad.
Exactly. Thank you, sir. And last question, and I can personally relate with this because my dad, at the age of 66, he completed his post-graduation. So there's one interesting question which has come here from our own senior Ajit Prakash Saigavi. Do you still pursue your MBA dream of Stanford?
I tried actually. Post 2003, I went to Stanford to see if I can do a degree, but then I met a couple of lecturers there, a couple of professors there, and they guided me. And then they made me realize that the position which I am in India, I think is far better, because otherwise it has to be a different start altogether from the scratch, which was not necessary. I think it was a good advice from them. Sometimes, you feel that you have missed out on education and you still want to add on something and you want to get that degree from the best one. But I have the KC administrative degree. That's probably the biggest of the degrees that I have got.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much. It was pleasure hosting you. And trust me, one of the finest emceeing I've been able to do was with Javagal Srinath bowling and